Picture this. The people most likely to lie to you are not strangers, but the ones you trust the most. Your partner, your closest friend, maybe even your own family. The real pain doesn't come from hearing a lie. It comes from the moment you choose to believe it, even when deep inside you already felt something was wrong. The Stoics taught us, do not fear the truth. Fear losing your ability to recognize it. Because once you ignore the signs, deception grows in silence until it shatters your trust, your relationships, and your peace of mind. In this video, we'll uncover 7 powerful signs that reveal when someone is lying to you. But more than that, you'll learn how to face dishonesty with Stoic wisdom, not to become suspicious of everyone, but to protect your truth and protect yourself. Stay with me until the end, and if this resonates with you, consider subscribing to The Stoic Habit. Together, we'll sharpen the mind, strengthen the soul, and live with clarity. Sign number 1, quickly changing the subject. Have you ever noticed how some people escape a conversation the very moment it begins to matter? You ask a serious question about the future of a relationship, about responsibilities, about where things are heading, and within seconds, the discussion is redirected. Suddenly, you are no longer speaking about trust, or commitment, or values. Instead, you are talking about dinner plans, or some random story they saw online. At first, this may seem harmless. You might excuse it as a lack of readiness, or believe they are simply distracted. But when it happens again and again, it is no longer an accident. It becomes a pattern, a deliberate strategy to avoid the truth. Seneca once wrote, "No one can run from the truth and still keep peace in their soul." Every time someone dodges the real issue, they are not only avoiding you, they are avoiding their own conscience. And avoidance is not neutral. Avoidance is an answer in itself. The Stoics remind us that responsibility is the cornerstone of any strong bond. Whether in marriage, friendship, or work, the willingness to face uncomfortable questions is proof of honesty and respect. When a person cannot remain present in such moments, when they constantly slip away into safer topics, what they reveal is not forgetfulness, it is fear. Fear of being seen, fear of being held accountable. And this is where the danger lies, because silence, when used to escape responsibility, becomes a silent form of lying. It corrodes trust slowly, piece by piece, until one day you look back and realize the relationship was built on evasions rather than truth. So here is the lesson. Do not overlook the quick change of subject. It is not just a conversational trick, it is a choice of comfort over clarity, a choice of safety over sincerity. And those choices, repeated often enough, will erode the very foundation of trust. If someone values you, they will stay in the difficult conversation. They will not abandon the moment where honesty is required. And if they cannot do that, you must ask yourself, what kind of connection are you truly building? Because truth, however uncomfortable, always builds stronger bonds than any well-constructed lie. Sign number 2, listening to respond, not to understand. Think back to the last time you poured your heart into a conversation. You wanted to be heard. You wanted someone to truly understand what you were saying. Yet instead of listening, they were only waiting for their turn to speak. Their eyes glanced away, their body leaned forward, not to receive your words, but to prepare their rebuttal. This is not listening. This is performance, and performance is the enemy of trust. The Stoics believed that listening is an act of respect. Epictetus urged his students to speak little and listen much. Why? Because real listening is not passive. It is an expression of virtue. When you listen without judgment, you give the other person a space where their truth can exist. But when someone listens only to respond, they reveal something deeper. They are not interested in truth, they are interested in control. I once sat across from a colleague who was clearly going through a hard time. My first instinct was to interrupt, to offer advice, to fix the problem. But I caught myself. Instead, I remained silent. I let him speak. And what happened? He opened up more. By the end, he told me, I've never felt so understood. That was when I realized listening is not about having the right answer. It is about being present enough to let the other person's soul breathe. So how does this connect to lies? When someone listens only to react, to defend, to spin their own narrative, it is often because they are hiding something. They do not want clarity. They want distraction. They do not want you to see them. They want to keep you circling around their words, never reaching the truth. The Stoics teach us that truth is revealed in stillness, in patience. If someone cannot grant you that, if every conversation becomes a debate, a contest, or a performance, it is a warning sign. Their refusal to truly listen is not just selfishness, it may be concealment. Remember this: genuine listening builds connection, false listening builds walls, and a relationship built on walls cannot survive. If someone values you, they will not rush to reply. They will sit with your words, let them settle, and respond with honesty rather than performance. That is how you know the difference between someone who seeks truth and someone who seeks to hide it. Sign number 3, getting defensive without cause. Have you ever asked a simple, harmless question and received a reaction as if you had just accused someone of a crime? You ask, "Hey, did you finish that report?" And suddenly they explode. "Why do you always think I'm slacking? I work harder than anyone here." This kind of overreaction is not normal. It is not a sign of confidence, it is a sign of fear. The Stoics remind us that truth requires no defense. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The man of integrity needs no oath, no excuses. His actions speak for themselves." A person who is honest can answer calmly, but the one who panics at the slightest question often reveals more than they intend. Their defensiveness is not protecting them from you, it is protecting them from the truth they are trying to hide. Think of it this way: when you step on someone's foot by accident, the person without a wound feels nothing. But if someone leaps in pain before you even touched them, it is because they were already injured. In the same way, a defensive outburst often points to a guilty conscience. I once worked with a teammate who reacted this way every time I asked for updates. I never accused him of anything, but his responses were filled with anger, as though I had questioned his entire character. Eventually, it became clear his hostility was just smoke to cover the fact that he had done almost nothing. His defensiveness was not about me, it was about his own deception. The Stoics teach us to look past the noise of emotion and examine the reality underneath. When someone reacts with disproportionate defensiveness, ask yourself, what are they so afraid I will discover? Because truth can stand in the open. Lies need shadows and shouting to survive. Here is the lesson: do not let yourself be intimidated by unwarranted defensiveness. Do not retreat out of guilt when you have asked an honest question. Their reaction is not a reflection of your wrongdoing, it is a reflection of their unease. An honest person will meet your question with clarity. A dishonest person will meet it with chaos. And the more chaotic the response, the more certain you can be. They are protecting a secret, not defending the truth. Sign number 4, the story that sounds too perfect. Have you ever listened to someone tell a story that seemed flawless? Every detail polished, every moment perfectly aligned, like a movie script. They describe the exact time, the exact place, the exact words spoken, as though life unfolded like a stage play. And for a moment, you almost believe it, until you remember that reality is never that neat. The Stoics remind us that truth is often messy. Life does not follow a script. Things go wrong, details get forgotten, memories overlap. Seneca once wrote, "Truth is simple, falsehood is complex." When a story is overly polished, when it flows with cinematic precision, it often signals not authenticity, but performance. I once knew someone who loved to tell stories of success. Every deal he claimed to close sounded like it belonged in a business magazine. He painted the scene so vividly that you could almost hear triumphant music in the background. But when I asked a few more questions, small details, nothing complicated, the narrative began to unravel. The cracks appeared, and soon the success collapsed into exaggeration and fabrication. Why do liars over-polish? Because they know the raw truth will not impress. They rely on our love of neat, engaging narratives. They count on the fact that we prefer a beautiful story over an ugly reality. And too often, we let them get away with it. But the Stoics teach us not to be seduced by appearances. Epictetus urged his students to test every impression. That means we must look deeper, ask questions, and resist the comfort of stories that sound too good to be true. Because in life, perfection is rare, and when someone offers you a story with no flaws, no gaps, no contradictions, it is not a gift, it is bait. Here is the lesson. Real honesty does not need to shine. It does not need flawless presentation. It stands on its own, even if it stumbles, even if it sounds unremarkable. A story that is raw, imperfect, and human carries more truth than 100 polished speeches. So the next time you hear a tale that feels too perfect, do not simply nod and smile. Lean closer. Ask questions. Because truth can withstand scrutiny, but lies, no matter how beautiful, will always break under pressure. Sign number 5. The body turns away from you. Words can be rehearsed, smiles can be faked, but the body often cannot lie. Have you ever been in a serious conversation and noticed the other person slowly angling their body away? Their torso shifts, their shoulders lean, their feet point toward the exit. Outwardly, they might still be speaking to you, but inwardly, their body is already trying to leave. The Stoics would tell us, pay attention. Epictetus taught that a person's actions, not their words, reveal their character. And body language is action. It is the subconscious revealing what the conscious mind tries to hide. I once had a friend who did this every time the topic grew uncomfortable. If I asked about something personal, something serious, his body would betray him before his words did. He would turn slightly away, cross his arms, create distance, and later I found out he had been hiding things he never wanted to discuss. His body told the truth long before his lips admitted it. Why does this matter? Because when someone cannot face you physically, it often means they cannot face you emotionally. Their body becomes a shield against confrontation. It is not just restlessness, it is avoidance. And avoidance, repeated enough times, is its own form of deception. The Stoics remind us not to ignore such signs. Marcus Aurelius urged himself daily to observe human nature without judgment, but with clarity. If a person is turning away in the middle of a serious conversation, it is not a coincidence. It is an unspoken confession. I do not want to be seen. Here is the lesson. Do not dismiss the body as irrelevant. A turned shoulder, an averted gaze, a step back, these are signals as loud as words. If someone consistently turns away when honesty is required, ask yourself what they are running from. Because truth does not turn its back on you, and neither should the people you trust. Sign number 6. Laughing off serious topics. Laughter is a gift. It can ease tension, bring people closer, and heal wounds. But sometimes, laughter is not a sign of joy. It is a disguise. Have you ever tried to bring up something serious, your concerns, your needs, the future, and the other person laughed it off? You speak about feeling disconnected, and they chuckle. Relax, you're overthinking. You try to discuss responsibility, and they turn it into a joke. On the surface, it looks playful, but underneath, it is avoidance. The Stoics would call this a mask. Seneca once wrote that people use diversions to escape truth, but what is escaped still pursues. Joking about serious matters does not erase them, it only delays the moment of reckoning. I once knew someone who did this constantly. Anytime a heavy subject arose, finances, commitments, even feelings, the response was sarcasm or humor. At first, it seemed charming, but over time, I realized the laughter was a wall. It wasn't lightheartedness, it was fear, a fear of accountability, a fear of being vulnerable. Why is this dangerous? because humor, when used to deflect, shuts down the conversation. It makes you feel like the unreasonable one for insisting on seriousness. It convinces you that maybe you are the problem, when in truth, the problem is their unwillingness to face reality. The Stoics remind us, not everything in life is meant to be light. Epictetus taught that some things must be faced with gravity, because truth is not always comfortable, but it is always necessary. To dismiss the serious with a laugh is to betray both yourself and the relationship. Here is the lesson. Notice when humor is genuine and when it is an escape. Genuine humor strengthens bonds. Defensive humor weakens them. If someone cannot take your serious concerns seriously, they are not ready to stand in the truth with you. Laughter can be medicine, yes, but it can also be poison when used to silence what must be spoken. The Stoic way is not to eliminate humor, but to recognize when it hides fear. Because in the end, truth is not a punchline, and if someone treats it as one, they are not being honest with you. Sign number 7, vagueness, when pressed for specifics. Honesty is clear. Deception is cloudy. Have you ever asked someone a direct question? When did this happen? Who was involved? What exactly did you mean? And instead of giving you a straight answer, they drown you in vague phrases. It's complicated. We'll see. Don't worry. Everything's fine. At first, it may sound harmless. But vagueness, when used consistently, is not confusion. It is concealment. The Stoics understood this well. Epictetus advised his students to speak little, but speak plainly, because clarity is a mark of integrity. If someone truly values the truth, they may not know all the answers, but they will not hide behind fog. They will say, "I'm not sure," or "I need to check." That is honesty. But when a person constantly circles around without saying anything, they are not protecting your feelings, they are protecting themselves. I once had a colleague who bragged about big deals he was working on, but every time I asked for details, names, deadlines, progress, his answers dissolved into mist. We're in talks, exciting opportunities, can't share too much right now. Weeks later, the truth surfaced. There was no deal at all. His vagueness was not humility, it was a shield for a lie. Why does this matter? Because vagueness erodes trust faster than open conflict. When someone refuses to be specific, they deny you the clarity you deserve. And without clarity, there can be no confidence in the relationship, whether it's in business, friendship, or love. The Stoics remind us that a life of virtue is a life of transparency. Seneca wrote that the one who seeks wisdom has nothing to hide because his life is aligned with reason. If a person cannot give you specifics when it counts, they are not aligned with truth. Here is the lesson. Do not settle for vague half-answers. Do not let politeness silence your need for clarity. The honest will never fear a precise question. Only deception dreads the details. When someone chooses vagueness over truth, ask yourself, what are they building with you, trust or illusion? Because in the end, relationships built on fog always collapse in the light. Conclusion. Most people think lying only means speaking a falsehood, but deception is far more subtle. It can be avoidance. It can be laughter that hides discomfort. It can be a story polished to perfection. Or it can be silence, a refusal to face the truth. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each day, live in truth, for truth is part of nature. Falsehood is the disease that destroys the soul. So take this as your reminder too. Watch closely. Listen not only with your ears, but with your heart. When you see these 7 signs, do not rush into anger, and do not lose your calm. Remember, you always have the power to choose truth, even when others choose deception. Now I want to hear from you. How many times have you ignored these signs, and what did it cost you? Share below, and if this message resonates, like the video and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. Type "I choose truth" in the comments to commit to your journey.